Okay. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's session. In today's session, we will look into the next module, that is module number 4. In module 4, we are going to learn about we'll see how useful they are. Then first we will look into the arrays. We'll look into arrays, and these are the super globals: $_get and $_post super global arrays, and $_server array, $_files array, reading or writing into files, PHP classes and objects, object oriented overview, classes and objects in PHP, then object oriented design, error handling and validation. What are errors and exceptions? PHP error reporting, PHP error, and exception handling. These are the different things we are going to look into this particular module, and we will start with the first arrays, PHP arrays. So PHP array is very similar to the kind of array you can correlate, but in case of a PHP, it is it's an object, and it is very powerful, and it we can dynamically add, remove, all those things can be done. Apart from that, it has attributes and methods that can be used. An array is a data structure that collects number of related elements together in a single variable. That is what is the array. We know about that. Allows the set to be iterated. So whatever the collection you have, it allows you to iterate it to access any element that is stored in its collection. Since PHP implements an array as a dynamic structure, we can add element to the array dynamically, and we can remove the elements. Unlike some of the languages where arrays are fixed structures, you will not be able to delete or do anything about that. But in case of a PHP, we can dynamically, if you want to delete, we can resize it basically. A PHP, an array is actually ordered map. It's a so in case of a PHP, this is a key value pair, that is a ordered map. So these are the keys. So 0 1 2 3 4. You can correlate it as a indices. In other languages, we say it as a index or the indices of the array. So these are called as the keys, and each key is associated with a one value. So 0th key is associated with the value of Monday, and this whole array is the $days. So days is the name of the array, in which we have 5 elements, and the 0th key is related to the value Monday 1 to Tuesday, and so on. These are the different values that are stored along with the keys. Array keys are the means by which you access the data. So the using the key, I can access any value that is stored in the particular array. In most programming languages, array are limited to integers, to start at 0 and go up by 1. So if you see in many languages, always the keys or the indices are always it is limited to integers. We use integers, and mostly it will increment by 1. So if it is starting is 0, next one would be 1 2 3 and so on. But in case of a PHP, we can have a other than integer, we can have the string or the text keys. Okay. Text can be used as a key. We will see the example for that. So instead of using integers, I can have a key as a some kind of a text. In PHP, array key must be either in integers or strings. So we have two options here. Either I can have integers or I can have strings. And if it is a string, it need not be a sequential. Don't mix key types. That is, okay, inside the double quotes we have one, it is a representative of a text, and this is a representative of a integer. And by default, if you don't specify any keys, by default the keys are going to be like 0 1 2 3 so on. Array values, unlike keys, are not restricted to integers and strings. So in case of a array, keys can be strings or the integers, but the value, it can be anything. It can be a integer, it can be a string, you can have a object, anything you can have for the value. So they can be an any object type or a primitive. Primitive is like basic integer, float, whatever the primitive data types. It can be those, or it can be a type. It can be an object. You can even have an object of your own types, so long as the keys in the array are integers and strings. If we have our own object, then we can keep that also. But we have to make sure that the keys are either integers or the strings. This is the declaration of the array, and the name of the array is days. So $day is equal to array with a empty bracket and semicolon. What it will do is it will create an empty array. So an array called days will be created with the empty values. And these are the other two ways we can have the array created. This is empty array. If you want to initialize and declare both together, you can specify all the values. Now what happens, $day is equal to array, and inside the parenthesis I have provided all the values separated by the comma. So I have all the text values, Monday, Tuesday, so on, separated by the comma. And by default, when we are creating a array like this, by default this will have a key of 0, this will have 1 2 and so on. And this is alternate way of creating a array. You will say $days is equal to, inside the square bracket you will provide all the values separated by the comma, which will be exactly the same as this statement. You can also declare each subsequent element in the array individually. Suppose if you want to declare individually, if you want to initialize individually, that also can be done. So $days is equal to array, it will create an empty array. Okay, then once empty array is created, you can say $days square bracket 0. So this is the first key. At the 0th key, a Monday value will be stored, and at first key, Tuesday value will be stored. The other alternate approach is you declare a empty array. $days b is equal to array. So this is, we will create a empty array, and you will say days b, name of the array, and empty square bracket, and you will say the value is equal to any value. What this will do is, whichever is the next available key in the sequence. Suppose if this, now right now it is completely empty, so at 0th location it will store the Monday, and this will store at the location 1 and so on. So it will find the next available location, and it will assign whenever you say, whenever you give the name of the array with the empty square brackets. So this is good. Suppose if you don't want to keep track of the key, which key you are specifying dynamically, you are, if you are trying to add the values, then you just say days b with an empty bracket. It will find the next available key, and it will assign that particular value to that particular key. To access values in the array, you refer to their key using the square bracket notation. It is similar to the what we have studied in C programming or any other programming. Using a square bracket and providing the key, you can access that particular value. Now you can see a code here, echo. Then I have a string from here to here. Value at index 1 is dot is, it is a concatenation. We are concatenating the value $days at 1. So whatever the value that is stored at the that is mapped to the key 1, that will be given. I think it is a Tuesday, or okay. So at location 1 we have Tuesday. So what $days what output is E, that is the text in addition to the values. So as I told you, instead of having like default, you can specify your own key. This allows you to use other than the classic 0 1. So that is done like this. So if you don't specify the key, by default 0 1 2 3, that is what will happen by default. But if you specify key, whatever the key you specify, that key will be stored inside the bracket. I don't have just the value. So earlier example, I had 1 2 3 4 5 values. Now what I have is a key and value pair. So what the how the array will be stored? It will be stored this as the key, and it will map this value to this particular key. So that is how you are going to use it. So you will provide the key, then equal greater than. So this is the mapping sign, and you provide the value and comma. This key value pair should be separated by the comma. So how many key value pairs we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So inside the array, this is how it will be stored. 0 is mapped to Monday, 2 is mapped to 1 is mapped to Tuesday, and so on. Suppose if you want to assign separate keys, that is one example where we again have 0 1 2 3. In the previous example, we just not giving any other value, we are giving 0 1 2 so on. If you want to specify some other value, let us say you want to put a forecasting data. Suppose it is a sales forecast, for example, where you want to have the key as the day, and the value as the forecasted value or the forecasted sales value. So you can create a dollar forecast. It is the variable is equal to array. Inside the brackets, I have key as Monday, and it is mapped to 40. So on Monday, I have a forecast of 40, Tuesday 47, Wednesday 52, Thursday 40, Friday 37. Now, in this particular example of array, forecast array, we have all the keys as a string. So we have string keys, and value is integers. This is how it will be stored. This is the key. Monday is mapped to 40, Tuesday is mapped to 47, and so on. How do we access? We access using the same key only. There is no change in accessing. Suppose how do we access this 40 value? Sorry, in this example they have given 47. How to access this 47? You will say echo dollar forecast inside the square bracket. You will provide this string. Okay, inside the double quotes you will say Tuesday. It will get you the 47 value. If you say dollar forecast inside the square bracket Thursday, it will fetch you the 40. So this will output it to the browser. Multi-dimensional array, we can have multi-dimensional array. How to create them? This is a one example. We have a multi-dimensional array month. Dollar month is equal to array. So this is the opening of the parenthesis, closing of the parenthesis, semicolon. Inside this I have four arrays. So each of these arrays will form as a row. Just you can think like it is 2 by 2 array, multi-dimensional, and the dimension is 2 by 2. And I have four rows, 1 2 3 4 rows, and these form the keys for the those particular columns. So these will represent the column Monday and Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and so on. That is how this will be structured. Right now the column, these are the values that are stored. So when I say array, inside this array, this will be at the 0th row. This is at the 0th row. This is first row, and this is second row, and this is third row. And inside this array, I did not specify the keys. So for this default key is 0 1 2 3, and for these values, all these rows, the default is 0 1 2 3 4, so on. Again this is 0 1 2 3 4, so on. Suppose if you say echo month 0 3, so which first square bracket has 0, second dimension is square bracket 3. The first dimension, it will come here, 0th row and 3. This is 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. So we will get the Thursday value. So same thing has been explained here. Because we are not specifying the key here, nowhere I specified the key. So by default, it will take 0, 1, 2, 3, so on. So I have 4 rows, 0, 1, 2, 3, and there are 5 columns, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, starting from 0 to 4 index. So that's why month 03 is this one. This is the 0th row and third column, key having the value of 3. 3 2, if I say 3 2, it will come to this is the third row, and this would be the column, that is the Wednesday. Multi-dimensional array. Here you can see we are using a key, okay, for the rows. So let us see how this is. First, dollar cart is equal to array. Dollar cart is equal to array. So what it will do, it will create an empty array. So we have created the empty array. Now I told you how to access the how to store the value, dollar cart empty square bracket. So it will place the this whatever is on the right hand at the 0th location, because it is right now it is 0. At 0th location, what it will put is, it is going to put another array. So another array which has 1, 2, and 3 key value pairs. And first key is ID and its value is 37. Second key is title and its value is this text. And third key is quantity and its value is 1. This complete array is stored at the 0th location of cart array. Similarly, cart square bracket, it 0th location is already taken, it will go to the next location. In the next location, I am storing another array. This array has ID as 345, title as this value, quantity as 1, and so on. So this is how this will be created. So you can see this cart is having 3 rows, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, because we did not specify the key for the this array, cart array. But inside the cart, we have specified for each of the row. Each of the row, ID 37, title this, quantity this. Second row, that is accessed using the key 1, ID 345, and so on. So if I say dollar cart to title, so it will come to 0, 1, 2 and title. So it is this particular text is accessed. Iterating through an array. So to iterate through an array, we can use any kind of a loop, while loop or a do while loop, or a for loop. So if you use the while loop, this is I is equal to 0, dollar I is equal to 0, while dollar I is less than, this is the count is the function, okay, that I can call upon the array. This will get me the number of elements that are present, okay. So initially I is 0. For example, in our example, dollar days, we had 5 values, Monday, Tuesday, and so on. 5 values are there. So count of that array is 5. 0 less than 5, it will come inside. The condition is true, it will come inside. Echo dollar days, dollar I is 0. So dollar days, it is going to fetch the first value that is mapped to 0 key, that is Monday. Monday will be displayed concatenated. So this is the concatenation, concatenating with a break, okay, this is a break. Then incrementing the I value, it will become 1. So 1 is less than 5, true. Again, it will come to the next, that is next was the Tuesday value. Tuesday concatenated with the break, and so on. So all the values are displayed on the separate line. So on the browser, how you will say Monday on first line, Tuesday, and so on. Same code is here using do while. I is equal to 0, echo days of which is at the 0th location, then increment, check the condition, and it will repeat again. It will print all the five values. This is how we can use the for loop. So initialization, condition, increment. The challenge of using the classic loop structure is that when you have non-sequential integer keys, that is an associative array, you can't write simple loop that uses the $i++ construct to address the dynamic nature of such arrays. You have to use iterators to move through such an array. So we know that in case of a PHP array, we can have a key that is integer, or we can have any other string. So if we have the a sequential key like 0 1 2 3, we can use any construct which uses I++, what we saw here in these three combination, and we can iterate through the all the items. But if we have the strings, we need a some kind of a iterator. So here we can use the for each. Now for each dollar forecast. So you remember dollar forecast we had. I will show you that. Okay, this is dollar forecast. Our keys are not integer and they are not sequential. These are just some kind of a text. Okay, some strings are there. So for iterating into these elements, we have to use for each. So for each, inside the bracket, dollar forecast has four values. As a dollar value, it will fetch the first value. So you can print that first value. Echo dollar value dot dot is concatenation. You are concatenating with a break. So what is the first value we had? So there are five values. So 40 is displayed, then 47 on the next line, 52, 40, 37. So they will be displayed on five different lines. So this is the code. Values as well as the keys. You can inside the parenthesis dollar forecast as dollar key and this map. Okay, equal greater than sign and map to the dollar value. So I have the key when it gets the first key value pair. The key is stored in dollar key and value is stored in dollar value. So for the first element, dollar key is MON, right? And the dollar value is 40. That is what you are going to display on the browser. Echo dollar day. Okay, dollar day dot dollar key Monday. So day Monday dot concatenation equals to dot concatenation dollar value is 40. So what is displayed on the browser is day MON is equal to 40, and there are five values are there. Each of those values will be printed in a separate line, because not a separate line, it will be printed on the same line. We are not using the break. Adding to an array, an element can be added to an array simply by using a key index that hasn't been used. So if you have any key that is not yet used, directly it will add that particular value. For days, we had only values until the index 4, 0 to 4. At fifth location, we are adding Saturday. So if you say dollar days square bracket, the new index is equal to sat, it will add. Or as we said before, if you don't know what is the last index that is excuse me, that is stored in the that particular array, you can have dollar days and empty bracket. Empty bracket will automatically get the next key. So what was the key that was stored here? The last key is 5. Automatically it will get 6. At the for the sixth key, it will assign a value of Sunday, or it will map the value of Sunday. PHP is more than happy to let you skip an index. So in case of a PHP, we can also skip. We need not have all the indices in a sequence. So when we say this, this comes with a challenge as well. If there is an empty index, let us say you have you have 0 for this example. We'll see dollar days array Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. By default, the key is 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we are skipping 5 and 6, and we are saying dollar days 7 is equal to Saturday. So this is perfectly fine. But the problem is when you are iterating in case of a PHP, when you are iterating the array, you have to make sure there is some content. If otherwise, without the content, if you try to access, it will give you an error. So array will be created like this. Array 0 is mapped to Monday, 1 is mapped to Tuesday, 2 is mapped to Wednesday, 3 to Thursday, 4 to Friday, and 7 to Saturday. If we try referencing a $day 6, it will return a null value. So you have to be very careful to check the values before you do any kind of a operation. If you try to do any kind of a operation on null, you might get some kind of a error. Maybe you will check that is not null, so that there is some data is stored, then only you process that data. Deleting from an array, you can explicitly delete array element using the unset function. So using unset, we can delete any kind of a element that is present. For example, here you can see dollar days array is created Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 5 elements. The key value would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we are doing unset dollar days 2. What is a dollar days 2? This is 0, this is 1, this is 2. So Wednesday is deleted and Thursday is deleted. And if you print the array, print underscore r dollar days, the output would be like this array at 0th location Monday, 1 location Tuesday, and this are deleted. So at the 4th key, I will have a value of Friday. So two elements have been deleted. Dollar days is equal to array underscore values dollar days. So array underscore values, what it will do, it will rearrange the keys. So you can see here, when you say dollar days is equal to array values and you pass the dollar days, it will rearrange the keys. Now earlier it was 4. After passing that dollar days to array values, it will return a again ordered, it will reorder the key and it will return that array. That is how it is stored. Now 0, 1, and 2. You can explicitly delete array elements using the unset function, and array underscore values, it indexes the array numerically. If it is a numerical one, it will rearrange the deleted one. This example we already saw that. Checking for a value, I told because there is a possibility of skipping a value, we have to check the whether there is a value is present or not. Since array keys need not be sequential and need not be integers, you may run into a scenario where you want to check if a value has been set for a particular key or not. To check if the value exists for the key, you can therefore use this method. So there is a method called isSet function, which returns a value if value has been set. Otherwise it will return the false. So you can see here we have dollar odd keys is equal to, I'm creating a array. How many elements are there? 1, 2, and 3 elements, and the key is 1 is mapped to hello, 2 is skipped, 3 is mapped to word, 4 is skipped, 5 is mapped to a exclamation sign. Now I am checking if is set dollar odd keys at 0th location. If you see at 0th location, we don't have anything. So what this will return? This will return a false. So is set, then you are passing this, and this is not available. So this will return false. Okay, the code below will never be reached because this is not present. So whatever the code you have in the true block, it will never be reached because this will return false. Then next one, if inside the parenthesis is set and you are passing dollar odd keys and key is 1, yes, it has a value, so it will return a value. Then this, whatever the you have in the true block, that will get executed. Sorting of the arrays. There are built-in functions that are useful in arrays. One of the built-in function is the sort function. Okay, using sort functions, you can sort the keys or the values. There are many built-in sort functions which sort by key or by value. To sort the $days array by its values, you should simply use this one. Suppose if you want to order the $days by value, you call the sort function and pass the array. As the values are all strings, order. So you can see Friday comes first, okay, according to A to Z. So alphabetically, F comes first before the M, and so on. If you see, it's a alphabetical order: Friday, Monday, Saturday, Sunday, Thursday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And if you see here, the keys are changed. Earlier Friday had a different key. Earlier Friday had a different key. Now the key is 0. If you want to retain the keys what were before, then you will call a sort, and this is the function you are going to call. Now you can see the keys are not re-indexed from the 0. Whatever the key that were before, the same keys are there, but it has ordered. So the first value comes as a Friday, which is having a key of 4. Second one is Monday, so it has ordered the all the values, but it has retained the key. If you want to do that, you use the sort. If you want to have the index again from the 0, use the sort method. These are the other functions that are available: array underscore keys, array underscore values we already saw, then array underscore rand, array underscore reverse, array underscore walk, in underscore array, and shuffle. These are the many functions that are available for to use with the our arrays. Next is $get and $post super global variables. Okay, let me show piece of code and then we'll come back. Okay, I have a code. Okay, array sort. Okay, this is the, I'll open it in Notepad Plus. Okay, so this is the PHP program we have. The name is to underscore array sort dot php. Here I have a PHP code, the first piece of code. This is the opening PHP tag and closing PHP tag. Inside this, I have one variable defined. I have assigned a value of Randy, and then I have the HTML code, doc type HTML, HTML tags, body tag. Then I have a header. Inside the header, again I have a PHP code. Inside this HTML, I have PHP arrays. Then I have PHP, beginning of the PHP tag, end of the PHP tag. Inside that, just I'm echoing the this user, whatever. So this would be effectively h1 arrays Randy closing h1. Then we have another paragraph. Inside that, another paragraph. This is just the text, the original array. Then I have a PHP code. This is the starting tag, and this is the closing tag. So inside here, you can see I have declared array. $days is equal to array, and I have specified the key and value pair. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Same example what you saw on the slides. Okay, so array will be created with the key from 0 to 4, and they are mapped to Monday to Friday. Then echo $strong. Then for each, so I'm going to iterate this. I told you, if it is a non-sequential key like this, okay, then you have to use the for each. That is the iterator that you have to use. For each, 0 to 4, 1 to 5, 2 to 3, 4 to 5, 6 to 7, 8 to 9, 10 to 11, 12 to 13, 14 to 15, 16 to 17, 18 to 19, 20 to 21, 22 to 23, 24 to 25, 26 to 27, 28 to 29, 30 to 31, 32 to 33, 34 to 35, 36 to 37, 38 to 39, 40 to 41, 42 to 43, 44 to 45, 46 to 47, 48 to 49, 50 to 51, 52 to 53, 54 to 55, 56 to 57, 58 to 59, 60 to 61, 62 to 63, 64 to 65, 66 to 67, 68 to 69, 70 to 71, 72 to 73, 74 to 75, 76 to 77, 78 to 79, 80 to 81, 82 to 83, 84 to 85, 86 to 87, 88 to 89, 90 to 91, 92 to 93, 94 to 95, 96 to 97, 98 to 99, 100 to 101, 102 to 103, 104 to each inside the for loop I will get echo day space dollar key. So what is the key here? The key here is 0, and then I'm assigning concatenating it with the equal, and again concatenating with the value. And what is the value? Value is Monday, and I am breaking, it will go to the next line, and closing strong. So for all the records, means there are 1 2 3 4 5. So this will go through the 5 times. It will iterate 5 times, and it will print the it will output this value to the browser. Let me save this. I will save this. And yesterday I told you you have to copy all this code into c:\xampp htdocs. I'm copying there, which is already there. I replace it. Make sure that your Apache server is running. Start the XAMPP control panel. Click on start for the Apache. Make sure your Apache server is running. Okay, now it is running. Now open a localhost. By default it will open the dashboard, so that means web server is working fine. I will copy the name. PHP. You can see here day 0, then it is displaying. Okay, this is how the code is. Okay, let me show you. So initially we get the body, here header arrays and Randy, that is what arrays and Randy. Then this paragraph, the original array, then starts this PHP code. Whatever the output you see, this echo day dot key is 0. So if I change the key here, um, I'm not sure whether it will take that. Monday, and I will have figures. Okay, 40. Just I will change this one. Tuesday map to 47. Wednesday map to 57. So I will have only 3 values, just save time. I will save it. Make sure you copy from your local folder to the htdocs. I will copy to the htdocs, and I will refresh. So you can see here, okay, day is there. Instead of now here what we did was, now we change. Now the key is Monday, value is 40. Okay, so this is key. I don't need this. I will remove. This day is coming because I have a day there. Okay, now Monday is equal to 40. That is the forecast. Tuesday is 47. Wednesday is 57. Those are the 3 key and the value pairs. All right. Next we will see what are the super globals. Okay, so we have super global arrays called as a $_get and $_ post. As you can understand, it is related to the get and the post HTTP request. PHP uses special predefined associative arrays called super global variables that allow the programmers to easily access HTTP headers, query string parameters, and other commonly needed information. So whatever is in the $get, we get the all the query string related values. So whatever is in the HTTP header or the query strings, that we can access easily in our program using the super global arrays. They are called super global because they are always in the scope, and always defined. So they are in the scope means they are available always, and you can access those values. First one is the dollar underscore get and dollar underscore post arrays are the most important super global variables in PHP, since they allow the programmer to access data sent by the client in a query string. I will show you the example. Whatever the data is sent by the client, that data is available in the query string. So you need not access the query string, parse it and get the values directly. If you have dollar underscore get, you will get all the values that are submitted by the client. You can see this example. We have a HTML client, and this is the form. Action is process login.php. The method is get here, and we have two inputs here. One is the name, and second one is the password. So you name is the how it will send the when user enters the username and password and he clicks on the submit button. So they enter the value and submit button. How we get the data? As a query string. So query strings what starts with the question mark. You name, this is the you name, is equal to whatever user has typed here in the form. Okay, and it is separated by the ampersand and next value, that is pass. Pass is equal to p-w01, whatever the value that is passed. So this is the super global array. How to access that? Echo dollar underscore get inside the square bracket this u name with the key of this. Okay, this is a key and value pair. This key is what you will provide to the dollar underscore get inside the square bracket. If you specify this, you will get this value. So it will output the Ricardo and dollar underscore get, then key pass. This is the key pass. It will get the value that is mapped to this key, that is pw01, that is it will output to the browser. So before we go here, I will show you the example. Okay. For this example, what I have done is I have created a small page where we have the login information. Okay, that is HTML. Login.html. I will show you the HTML. Just first see the form. Okay, this is my HTML. This is the form, username, and there is a password, and they will submit. How that is created? I will directly show you it in the htdocs, so that if I make any changes, I can. This is 4. Okay, this is the HTML. I will open it in Notepad Plus, and this is a simple HTML. This is head section. I have a title, a body section. Inside the body section, I have a form, and form is having a get method. Action is login.php because my PHP name is login.php, and field set legend user login. Legend is, you already know all those things. This is the legend user login. Inside that I have a label username. This is the label name, and then text. This is the input type text uname, and then another label enter password, and this is a password. So this type is, it's a input password, and the name is pwd. Then I have a submit button. This is the submit button, and this is end of the form. This is end of the submit button, end of the form. And what happens when you click on the submit button? This action, this is a get method. HTTP request is the get, and it will be submitted to this particular information is submitted to login.php. Then I will show you the login.php. Inside the login.php, I'm going to access those values. This is my login.php. So it is simple PHP code. Dollar user is equal to dollar underscore get uname. What is this uname? This is nothing but what you have specified in your HTML. So this is the first text box. Then Second one is the password, pwd. This is the password, that is this pwd. So whatever the value that is getting submitted from the client, it will be available in dollar underscore get with the key of username and with the key of pwd. And what I'm going to do, echo hello space and concatenation with the user. So if I say user is Girish, hello Girish, then concatenated to welcome to our website. So if I click on that button, then it will say hello Girish, welcome to our website. So just we will run that and we will see. I will enter Girish some password and I will submit. So you can see, hello Girish, welcome to our website. So this is the response from this particular PHP. This is this echo, this is what you are seeing on the browser. Now to further extend this one, just what we can do is we can add some HTML. So I have added one HTML h1 here. Okay, I will save it and refresh. So you can see I have applied a HTML tag of h1. Okay, earlier I had a just plain text I was displaying on the browser, but I was not using the any kind of a HTML. Now what I did, I included the h1 opening tag and h1 closing tag to the same information, right? You can see here it will display like this. A little further extension to that. Now you have seen every web applications, banking applications or any other application where you have the user ID and password. The minute you enter user ID and password, they will tell you whether you are a valid user or not. If you are not a valid user, you will be asked to register first, then log in. So those kind of authentication, how can be done. So this is a very simple demonstration of that. In practice, in reality, in real application, this is not how it is done. Just for your understanding purpose, I am showing. If I want to authenticate, so let us say okay, next. Okay, let us say I want to do the authentication of the user. Whatever the user we are logging in, you will check whether he is a valid user, then only you will open your application. Otherwise you will say it is, you are an invalid user, please register if you are not registered. That implementation I have done a simple implementation here. I have considered Girish as the username, valid username, and abc123 is the valid password. I am checking whether the user is Girish and password is this. If this is true, then echo you are a authorized user. If this information is not correct, then you are strong unauthorized user. So I will demo that. I will just save this. First, I will give the correct information. Girish ABC123. So it should go in the true block. You can see here you are authorized user, so it is coming here. Okay, or in your application, whatever you want to show here, show the web page, you can include that particular PHP here. Now so I will give some other user, some different name and some password I will give. So you can see you are unauthorized user. So it is coming here. In reality, authorization is not done like this. Normally, we will have the database. All the information will be stored in some kind of a configuration files or a database where it will be fetched and everything will be encrypted. We decrypt, we validate whether the particular user is valid or not. This is just a simple demo. Here you can have a list of values stored in the file, combination of user ID and password, and from there you can fetch and you can do the validations. So that would be a little better than this particular option. If you have any questions, let me know. I will take 5 more minutes. Get request parse the query string into $get. So dollar underscore get will get the parsed values. So you need not worry about cleaning up, getting every whatever the parameters that you are sending from the your web application, all those parameters will be uh, uh, will be the keys of the that particular value, and you can access the value using that particular key. In our case, we got the whatever the user entered in the username field, it was mapped to the key uname. So using uname we accessed. So the example I shown is a get method. Similarly, we can use the post method. So how to do the post method? In just 5 minutes I will tell you. If first thing is, here you have to specify post method. Okay. Now if you see the browser, I will show you the browser. You can see, because we are using the get method, you can see the complete information here. It is not good, right? Username is visible and password is also visible. We should be using the post method. If we use the post method, these query string will be sent as the http request, so user will not be able to see that. So if you convert this one as a post, if you want, I will make that change quickly and we will retest. Okay, I will make it as a post. I saved it, and accordingly you have to change your PHP. So now the method is post method. So dollar underscore post will have the uname and the password. I will say this post. I save it. I will. Okay, we have to call the HTML first. Okay, this is my HTML. I will reload my HTML. Now I will give my user ID and password. Same effect, but you are not seeing the user ID and password here, because we are using the a post method. So it is very simple. If you are using a post method, all the information will be stored in the under the dollar underscore post super global array. This mechanism greatly simplifies accessing the data posted by the user, since you need to parse the query string or the post request headers. So you don't have to worry about parsing and all those things. It is already taken care, and it will be stored in the dollar underscore get and dollar underscore post. This is the example to check whether any kind of a data has been sent from the client or not. They have used here other super global dollar underscore server. We will see it later. Dollar underscore server, it has got a request method. It will tell whether it is a post or a get. In our example, we changed, it's a post. So you are checking the method is a post, the request is a post. And second, is set. We already saw this is set in case of a arrays, to check whether there is any content or not. Is set dollar underscore post uname. You are checking there is some content that is present in the user has entered some value in the that particular text, and you are checking whether user has entered the password or not. Is set. If both are true, then you are going to do the rest of the functionality, like handle user login now, and whatever you want to show, you can do all those things. This is the same example, which very similar example what I shown you. So this is username, password, and submit. How we can get the values on the backend side and on the server side, and how we can process, how we can authenticate. I gave you a simple example of using if statements, hard coded value of a user and the password, but it should not be hard coded. Accessing from array data. So suppose, let us say we have a for some controls we will have the multiple values. If you remember, checkboxes, okay, checkboxes will be sending the multiple values. For example, you can see this particular form. We have a checkbox Monday, input type, it is a checkbox. See, all these are checkbox and their name is exactly the same, day, and value is different. Name is same, value is different. Now let us say user selects Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So whichever value comes, if you say dollar underscore get and you give the key as day, it is going to give you only one value, whichever is the last value. To avoid this problem, what we can do is, instead of saying this as a day, you will specify day and a square bracket. It is a representative of a array. So unfortunately, if the user selects more than one day, submits the form $_get day. So this is the key, right? So this is the key. It will has multiple value. But if user accesses like this, the value in the super global array will only contain the last value from the list that was selected. To overcome this limitation, you must change the name attribute for each box from day to day square bracket. So day square bracket. Now it will be sent as an array. So you will have all the values. After making the change, the corresponding variable $_get day will now have the value that is of a type array. Now you can iterate. Okay, using for each, you can iterate. This is the PHP code. You submitted dollar count, how many values users has selected. Suppose user has selected 3, you will get a 3 values. On the browser, you will get you selected 3 values, and you will iterate $_get, then inside the square bracket day. When you specify this is an array, it is going to fetch the first value Monday, then concatenated with comma Monday comma Tuesday comma Wednesday comma. That is what the output it will give. Then using query strings in links, imagine a web page in which we are displaying a list of books. One approach would be to have a separate page for each book. Suppose if we are having showing list of books, then for each link we have to have a separate PHP. But if we use the query link, every book has a unique number, ISBN number. If I use that particular ISBN number, I can repaint. So I will have a display book.php. Let us say that page is displaying the image, name, title, author's name, some information we are producing, displaying. If I pass the ISBN, then I need not have one PHP code for each of these books. I can only have one generic display book.php, and based on the ISBN number, I can repaint the same page. Just because you are expecting proper query string doesn't mean that you are going to get a properly constructed query string. So whenever we are getting the data from the user, this is what we say: distrust all user input. Means you are not going to get a clean data. In spite of all your validations and things like that, there is a still chance that you might get a corrupt data from the user, or the bad data from the user. So we need to have some kind of a validation of the data on the application side. This is the example. Here we are getting a PID, and this is MySQL real escape string. Just as of now, think that it is starting some database connection, and it is getting a process ID for that as a number, and you are checking whether it is a number or not. Is_int, and you are passing the PID. Continue processing as normal. If it is not a number, then it is some junk value, then you have to handle accordingly. Okay, $_server, we will see it in the next session.